Hi, welcome to my channel. Today you will be watching the first in the series of 6 learning videos for English 7 about active and passive voice. This may look difficult, but the truth is, it is as easy as learning how to buy. To learn the active and passive voice, you need to develop certain skills. These are called prerequisite skills. Without these skills, it will be difficult for you to understand the active and passive voice. For this reason, the lesson about active and passive voice is divided into smaller topics or sub-lessons. Each sub-lesson will be taught in one separate video. So this video will only be about the simple tenses. In order for you to learn from this video, I would like you to do a few things religiously starting from the next slide to the last. Your performance here will require you to be diligent and honest. At the end of this series of 6 videos, you must be able to use the active and passive voice correctly in sentences, paragraphs, and other various texts. At the end of this video on the simple tenses, you must be able to construct sentences using the simple present, simple past, and simple future tenses correctly. English is considered the international language. The skill of speaking and writing correct English will help you become globally competitive. It will be your passport to a job, locally or abroad. With this skill and with a positive attitude, you have the edge to take active part in various real-life communication situations, from interviews to oral reports, and to become a valuable member of the workforce of the company in which you will be employed in the future. In short, learn correct English, be globally competitive, and be a valuable part of your future company's workforce. Learning a language or anything requires certain attitudes or values. To be able to understand and learn grammar rules in English, like the one we have in this learning video, will require you to be diligent. This means doing something persistently and never stopping until you have accomplished the tasks you are asked to do. It will also require you to be responsible. This means doing something by yourself, as you might need to spend extra time and to take extra effort in order for you to understand important rules and to develop the skills of speaking and writing correct English sentences. This will also help you create a socially healthy atmosphere with your office mates and accomplish all your tasks in the company where you will work in the future. So have diligence and a deep sense of responsibility and learn. Let's start. The simple tenses are of three forms: simple present, simple past, and simple future. The chart that you can see shows examples of sentences, all in the simple present tense. Remember that a sentence may express a condition or action of the subject. In number one sentence, what action do you think is expressed here? It expresses a fact or something that is true or correct. In number two sentence, what do you think does it express? It expresses a present action or an action that happens at present. In number three sentence, what action does it express? It expresses a present habitual action or an action that is habitually done at present. In number four sentence, what action does it express? It expresses a future action. This means that the simple present tense can also be used to express an action that will happen in the future. So when is the simple present tense used? The simple present tense is used when we are expressing facts, present actions, present habitual actions, or future actions. The subject of a sentence is simply what the sentence is about. It may be singular or referring to one person, thing, or idea. It may be plural or referring to two or more persons, things, or ideas. Can you tell which among the sentences have singular subjects? Sentences 2 and 4 have singular subject, while sentences 1 and 3 have a plural subject. The verb heads following Miss Ferrer in sentence 2 and the verb leaves following plane in sentence 4 are singular verbs. Can you tell me how are singular verbs formed? Singular verbs are formed by adding s or es to the verb. Can you now formulate the pattern in constructing sentences with singular subjects in the simple present tense? If the subject is singular, use the singular verb. Sentences 1 and 3 have plural subjects. Notice that plants is followed by the verb need, and Carlos and Miguel is followed by the verb visit. These verbs, need and visit, are plural verbs. Can you tell me how are plural verbs formed? Plural verbs are formed by using only the base form of the verb. No s or es is added to the verb. Can you now formulate the pattern in constructing sentences with plural subjects in the simple present tense? If the subject is plural, use the plural verb. Let us study sentences 5 and 6. These sentences do not express actions of their subject. Instead, they express present conditions or conditions that exist at present. Notice that the singular subject, the Philippines, is followed by is, while the plural subject, plants, is followed by are. These verbs, is and are forms of verb to be. Can you formulate the pattern in constructing sentences in the simple present tense when we are expressing present conditions? If the subject is singular, use the singular verb to be, which is is. If the subject is plural, use the plural verb to be, which is are. Look at the chart. It shows the patterns of sentences in the simple present tense. Again, how do we construct sentences when we are expressing present conditions? If the subject is singular, use the singular form of the verb to be, which is. If the subject is plural, use the plural form of the verb to be, which is are. If the subject is I, use the verb am. Now, how do we construct sentences when we are expressing present actions? If the subject is singular, use the singular verb, which we form by adding s or es to the verb. If the subject is plural, use the plural verb or the base form of the verb. If the subject is I, use the plural verb. Here are time expressions that require you to use the simple present tense. Let's see if you can complete these sentences with the correct form of the verb given in the parentheses. Every sentence will be read and you will be given 3 seconds to have an answer in your mind. Then the correct answer will be given. Ready? Number 1. Miss Solis blank grade 6 students at present. The answer is teaches. The correct sentence is Miss Solis teaches grade 6 students at present. Number 2. Snakes blank. The answer is crawl. The correct sentence is snakes crawl. Let's have number 3. Tim blank to the library twice a week. The answer is goes. The correct sentence is Tim goes to the library twice a week. Let's have number 4. We blank our own coffee shop. The answer is manage. The correct sentence is we manage our own coffee shop. Let's have number 5. China blank a country found in Asia. The answer here is. The correct sentence is China is a country found in Asia. Before we leave this part, can you tell the action or condition that each of these sentences expresses? Let's go to sentence number 1. Miss Solis teaches grade 6 students at present. This sentence expresses a present action. Number 2. Snakes crawl. This expresses a fact. Number 3. Tim goes to the library twice a week. This expresses a present habitual action. 4. We manage our own coffee shop. This expresses a present action. And number 5, China is a country found in Asia. This expresses a fact. Let's talk about the simple past tense. A sentence may express an action or condition. In the chart shown are examples of sentences in the simple past tense. Among these 4 sentences shown, which do you think expresses a past action and which expresses a past condition? Sentences 1 and 2 express a past action, or an action that already happened in the past. Sentences 3 and 4 express a past condition, or a condition that already occurred in the past. Sentences 1 and 2 express past actions. The subject, Carl, in sentence 1 is singular, and my parents in sentence 2 is plural. What verb follows Carl? Went. What verb follows my parents? Visited. Can you state the rule applied in expressing past actions? If the subject is singular or plural, use the past tense of the verb. Sentences 3 and 4 express past conditions. The subject, Mr. Robles, in sentence 3 is singular and is followed by was. The subject, Mr. Robles and Mr. Lopez, in sentence 4 is plural, and it is followed by were. Now, basing on these sentences, can you now state the rule applied when expressing past conditions? If the subject is singular, use was. If it is plural, use were. So when is the simple past tense used? The simple past tense is used when we express actions that happened in the past or conditions that existed in the past. Look at the chart. It shows the patterns of sentences in the simple past tense. Again, how do we construct sentences when we are expressing past conditions? If the subject is singular, use the singular form of the verb to be, which is was. If the subject is plural, use the plural form of the verb to be, which is were. If the subject is I, use the verb was. How do we construct sentences when we are expressing past actions? If the subject is singular or plural, use the past tense of the verb. Here are time expressions that require you to use the simple past tense. Although your English teacher has already taught you this, let's still recall how the past tense of verbs is formed. Look at the chart. It shows 2 kinds of verbs, regular and irregular. Look at the examples of regular verbs and notice how the past tense of these verbs is formed. The past tense of hike is hiked. D is added to hike. For smile, we add D, smiled. For mock, we have ed, mocked. For pray, we add ed, prayed. And for try, we change y to I and add ed. Can you now tell how the past tense of these verbs is formed? The past tense of regular verbs is formed by adding d or ed to the verb. Look at the examples of irregular verbs and notice how the past tense of these verbs is formed. The past tense of do is did. Write, we have wrote. Make, made. Build, built. And seek, we have sought. What can you say about how the past tense of these irregular verbs is formed? The past tense of irregular verbs is formed by changing a letter or two letters with another letter or two letters, or by using an entirely different word. There are lots of irregular verbs in English. Here are some of these. Remember, you cannot choose the past tense of irregular verbs if you don't have them in your memory box, so we need to memorize them. Now let's see if you can complete these sentences with the correct past tense of the verbs given in the parentheses. Remember, each sentence will be read and you'll be given 3 seconds to answer it. Are you ready? Let's start. Last Saturday, we blanked a horror movie. The answer here is watched. The correct sentence is last Saturday we watched a horror movie. Let's have number 2. Yesterday, Sam blanked football with his friends. The answer here is played. The correct sentence is yesterday, Sam played football with his friends. Let's have number 3. We blanked our grandparents fresh fruits. The answer here is brought. The correct sentence is we brought our grandparents fresh fruits. Let's have number 4. Mr. Dino blanked his son to a dental clinic. The answer here is took. The correct sentence is Mr. Dino took his son to a dental clinic. And number 5. Henry blanked his extra money in a piggy bank. The answer here is kept. The correct sentence is Henry kept his extra money in a piggy bank. Now let's talk about the simple future tense. As you already know, a sentence may express an action or condition. Among these four sentences shown, which do you think expresses action and which expresses conditions? Sentences 1 and 2 expresses a future condition or a condition that will occur in the future, while sentences 3 and 4 express a future action or an action that will happen in the future. All these are examples of sentences in the simple future tense. Sentences 1 and 2 express past continuous. This time, you will do some tasks that will require you to apply all the rules about the simple tenses that have been discussed. You are advised to use a pen, paper, or notebook where you will write your answers. Remember to press the pause button before you start doing each task, as each key to correction or KTC is given on the next task so you can check your answers. Do not attempt to take a peep to the task's KTC, as it will not help you learn the rules that have been discussed. Before doing the next task, press pause button and check your answers to the task done. Once you have checked your answers and found out you got 0 to 2 as a score, go back to the part where you failed to understand. If you got 3 to 5, proceed to the next task and follow the same procedure. In this part, you may not need to copy the entire paragraph. Instead, you may just write down the form of the verbs given in parentheses in the correct tense. In this part, you do not need to copy the entire dialogue. You may just write down the form of the verbs given in parentheses in the correct tense. If you have reached this part, it means you have done all development tasks and checked your answers. If you have a score of 0 to 8, it means you have failed to understand most of the rules that had been explained in the presentation phase. If you have a score of 9 to 15, it means you have performed well. Congratulations! Now read the basic rules regarding the simple tenses given in the assimilation box. These rules summarize all the things that have been explained in the presentation phase. Keep these things in your mind as you will need them when constructing sentences in English. Now you are ready for the engagement activity. This activity is the application phase of the lesson. Here you will need to apply your understanding of the lesson. After doing it, you may ask your English teacher to check your work, or you may send it to me via my Gmail address given in the last part of this video, as answer to this part is in a paragraph form and may vary. Once checked, it will be sent back to you. Now you have reached this part of our learning video where you are given questions to answer so you can assess if you have learned the lesson. Be ready with your pen and paper or notebook where you will need to write your answers. For 1 to 5 questions, write only the letter corresponding to your choices. For 16 to 15, write the correct word. Ready? Let's start. Now that you have reached this part of the video, it means you have done the assessment activity of the lesson. Remember that if you get a score of 0 to 8, you have to play back and do presentation activities again. If you get a score of 9 to 15, it means that you have successfully learned this lesson and that you are ready for the next lesson. Congratulations! So that's it. You can use this learning video anytime, or you can keep a copy of this video in your English 7 first quarter lessons so you can view it again, or you can use it in preparing for your quarter end tests. As a reviewer, just subscribe to my channel, hit notification button, and share with your classmates, your fellow English teachers, or fellow parents. If you have lessons that you want me to make a learning video about, feel free to message me via my Gmail account, which is found at the end of this video. And don't forget, please rate this video and comment after watching it. I hope I have helped you in my own little way. Bye for now. God bless and take care.